Yeah, baby, I'm eating your asshole. How you like it? That's how I kind of am in my head too.
Yeah.
And I get all fucking crazy.
You're a little more aggressive than me about it, though.
I like snarl and snort, I think, when I'm back there.
Boss Bitch After Dark.
All right, you guys are back. It is the second episode of Boss Bitch After Dark. If you are new here and you're not aware of what Boss Bitch After Dark is, it's definitely some bonus content that I felt needed to be shared with the fellow listeners of mine. And it's going to dive into some juicy topics. So make sure if you're interested, go find the first episode. In today's episode, we're going to cover some other fun things we decided to dive into. And by we, I mean my special guest and co-host for this After Dark series, Crystal Barerra, the almost Dr. Crystal. She will be a doctor very soon. So she'll be here. We're going to go over some really good stuff today that should pique your curiosity. So our intention with today's podcast is twofold. We're going to give you a little bit of homework, and we're also going to be sharing some of our stories about some of these things. And you're like, what are these things? We're going to challenge you to get curious about your desire and your pleasure. And with that, we have two tools that we're going to share with you. We took these tests ourselves. We're very familiar with them. And we hope that you will also look into these things. You might have some unmet desires, and you will be able to kind of tap into some new higher levels of pleasure, intimacy, deepen your relationship, honestly, with yourself. Wouldn't you agree?
I do.
So that way you are armed with what you like and what you don't like. I feel like a lot of times we just sort of roll with the punches with our current partners. And also this will help you, I feel like, in future relationships, future partnerships, or with current partners. So there's a little bit of something in it for everybody, I feel like. Wouldn't you say?
I think so too. And I think this will help like women who struggle with reaching orgasm through sexual experiences. Sometimes, being more open-minded and exploring other things can help you reach that, orgasm when you're having sexual experiences with a partner.
Right. Because if you are so used to doing things one way, then you don't really get to explore the possibilities of so many other amazing things that can bring you to pleasure and that can heighten, your arousal, your pleasure, your desire, all of those things.
And different types of orgasms.
And I'd like to say that I'm a researcher.
Yeah, content.
And I have been researching a lot. So what we're going to start off with is we highly suggest, and I will link everything up in the show notes as well. So if you haven't already gathered, if you're still new here, there's going to be a lot of explicit talk on things that might make you uncomfortable, things you might be like, hell yes, because I've been getting a lot of messages. I've probably got over 30 messages in my DMs and things like that from a lot of you who really enjoyed the last episode. Crystal even got messages. So we're going to roll with it again, but we will be talking freely in how we talk to each other. So this is very much like a girlfriend's chat. So we're not trying to offend anybody with any particular words. This is just how we bullshit, literally. So first order of operations, your homework is to go to kinktest.org. And this site, there are other variations of this same type of test, and it's going to ask you a great deal of questions. So carve out 5 whole minutes, and you can do it online, and it takes you through, and it'll ask you some interesting things, wouldn't you say?
I think so. I think I also would encourage you to do it in a space where you could think about it.
Yes.
Don't do it quickly. You want to make sure you're being honest with yourself. Nobody's going to see it.
Answer these questions as if you were writing in a diary that no one was going to read. Right? Because if you answer them thinking about what people would think because you like, or this kind of thing and kind of makes you curious or whatever, is going to defeat the whole purpose of actually tapping into finding out some interesting things about yourself that are not necessarily what, we've been led to believe is wrong. They're not. It's just your desires.
Correct.
So We're going to talk about our test results. We've taken this. This is probably the third time I've taken it. I haven't taken it in probably, 2 years maybe. So it's changed for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's going to be some things that maybe you're very familiar with the BDSM world. And BDSM, for those of you that are like, okay, what is this BDSM? What is that meaning? It's basically an acronym for bondage, discipline, or domination, sadism, and masochism. Okay, as a type of sexual practice. So I know some of you are already appalled, but we're going to dive in. So I took the test and I'm going to give you my top 4. So the first one for me is 100% voyeur. For me, what that means, just in terms of how I kind of decode this for myself in terms of what I know turns me on, is I like to have people watch me have sex. And that could be by way of like sending them videos like of each other, right? Like watching videos of myself and somebody else have sex. Watching other people is like, I'm curious about it. It's very interesting to me. So that's how I categorize that. And then my second 100% test result score is, are you ready?
I'm ready.
It is non-monogamist. And
I'm not shocked.
Yeah, right. And so that might be shocking for some, but so I'm an ethical slut. I don't know what to tell you.
But I feel that's also been like, it's been a process, right?
Yeah, you've watched it unfold.
Yes.
Okay.
It's been a process.
Yeah.
It's not like you always were this way. This has been a process of like like searching within yourself, experiencing different types of relationships, experiencing grief from some relationships, and then just kind of no longer putting blinders on what was actually really happening internally.
Yeah. What she's basically saying is I came by way of this of just experimentation with trying to find, felt like I was missing somebody. Like if I still was struggling with the fact that it was like, I'm single. So like, what's wrong with me? Why don't I have a partner? And with time, like I love being by myself. That's not an issue. And I love being single, but I do miss that intimacy or whatever. Companionship. And I've been exploring my sexuality with multiple partners, and there's an understanding, and it's consensual, and it's very much thought out. It's not just kind of haphazard, and I prefer that. And
it's very much your choice.
And it's definitely my choice. And so the way that I lead now in dating is with, I'm a non-monogamous person, which does not mean I can't love somebody, but also still want to fuck someone else.
Correct.
Right? Because for me, being single for so long, I've been able to separate sex means love. And that's not a thing for me. So I'm not like one of these girls, if I hook up with a guy and they don't text me the next day, I'm like on freak out land. Like doesn't even bother me.
It's because a lot of women have their heart attached to their vagina.
Yeah. And I just severed those quite some time ago.
You severed the connection.
I severed the vein. So
because men do not have their hearts attached to their penis.
I did read something somewhere, because I've been reading so much lately about all this stuff, about how men fall in love faster than women.
Correct.
But I think when it's a situation like this, where we're like, it's literally just a hookup culture type of situation, that's easy for me to be in. Like I have had a lot of fun, and I've had one person ask me, are you sleeping with anyone else? But with a clear understanding that we're not going to be boyfriend and girlfriend, but they were just curious, I think more for like health reasons and things like that, which I totally respect. But when this is happening, it's just an understanding. Like we're here to have fun and we play, and that's the thing. So we're kind of going on a tangent with us, but I just felt like, my fans and my fam, my boss bitch fam should know. And then my third one is being a brat. 93% a brat. And being a brat in the BDSM community can vary with different things. But for me, I just like to get in trouble and be punished.
Yeah. I'm not surprised.
Yes. So I have a primary partner that I'm playing with right now, but it's not a relationship situation. And this is a little bit of a struggle right now. But I really enjoy him. I enjoy having sex with him. And part of my kink is that I'm naughty and I do other things. And then I come back and I tell him and he's mad about it. And then we have great sex.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to tell you. Anyways, that's me. What about your 3?
So I'm not surprised with your 3, to be honest. I think they fit your personality completely.
Okay.
So my 3 have changed as well because I think I first took this test when I barely got a divorce, right? Like I feel like that when we were started talking about these things.
Yeah, it's been several years.
So my first one, I have 96% that I'm a switch.
Yeah.
Which basically to me means like I switch from trying to be in control and being out of control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's funnest for me, right? It's scary sometimes.
Yeah.
Because when you're so out of control, like I'm a person who's like, I feel like I'm so much like in control of a lot of pieces of my life that this is the one area of my life where I actually can let go.
Yes.
You know?
We've talked about that before.
We have.
Because we're both very just dominant, like we just are assertive and like we are very in charge of our lives.
And
right?
very independent, very self-sufficient. Yeah. Like we can spend time alone. We can spend time with people. Like we're not the freak out girls. We're like, oh my gosh, we're alone again. We actually like our schedules and our routines.
So when you find somebody, because I find this too, when I find a play partner who is just like bosses me around, I like want to like be mad about it and resist. And that's the brat in me. But that comes into the sexual tension and it plays really well in my favor. And I just submit and I'm just like, yes, daddy. Yes, sir. I'll be your good little princess.
And I love that. And I love that. And I think because we're so non-submissive in our regular life, just because of how our life has turned out, that when we get to be submissive, it's so amazing because we're like, please, somebody tell me what to do. Tell me how to do it.
Making decisions.
Yeah, I'm tired of being the one in charge.
Yes.
Like someone take charge of me, please.
It's so fucking true.
It is.
It's so true.
And the men who can do that the best are the ones that we tend to continue to go back to.
Yeah, definitely the top of the roster.
Has that, right?
Yeah, because if you can make me feel a type of way that like no one else can, and this sounds so weird, and I think I've struggled with this internally. I don't know if you have for years because I'm not like a feminist, but I don't have this like fuck men, anti-man attitude at all.
We love men.
I love it. And I also love the male energy. And I have so much of that, I feel like, as a female. So when we find somebody who is like, I got this is what you're going to do. And like, obviously there's communication and there's things that are like boundaries we have, but when they take the role, it's fucking hot.
I know they're able to place us in our 100% feminine energy, which we don't experience often.
Yeah. And that's very attractive.
I think so.
For me and you.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. So I have that as my number 1. My number 2, are you ready?
Okay.
It's non-monogamous.
Why are we besties? We're twin flames.
And I also think that's been an evolution, right? Just an evolution of life and seeing how things have unfolded in relationships and experiencing them. That it's just a belief that I have. Like I just, you guys live in a very conservative area. I understand. It's very religious based, very conservative.
Mm-hmm.
But, those things don't always work out.
I mean, we see it happen all the time for our monogamous friends.
Yes.
Well, not our friends, but just people in general, right? Monogamous people in general. Not everybody. There are the unicorn couples that like make it through to stand the test of time and they stay monogamous and they're absolutely smitten over that decision.
And I admire those couples.
For
like
sure.
I am not like, anti-monogamy, if you are in that and you make, that's what's good for you and you make it work, like I am all for it. Yeah. I applaud it. I'm like, I'm just in awe, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And I have only met very few people like that, though.
Yeah, I could say the same. So I think with where we're at, we're both in a situation where like at least I'm speaking for myself, but I feel like you would agree, where we're not opposed to finding somebody we want to develop an intimate connection, like a love relationship partner type thing. But also with this understanding that like we communicate on a level and we have some kind of boundaries around non-monogamy. And for me, that's an open book policy. I prefer that. I want to know. I want to tell you, but the details are up to you. How much do you want to know? Because my kink is I want to know everything.
I know.
Okay, if you're fucking someone else, I want to know. I want to talk about it because I think that's hot, and then I'm gonna want to fuck you better.
I know. That's your kink. That's
Okay,
100%
but it's
your
not
kink.
everybody's cup of tea.
No, it's not. But I think too, both of us are at a place where we value communication and open communication.
Mm-hmm.
And if these are the things that we're talking about and we're feeling like, I want to know,
Yeah.
I don't want to be with a partner who's like, lying to me or doing things,
That defeats the whole purpose
It does.
of being non-monogamous.
Correct. I want the communication. I prioritize that over anything. And I'm not going to tell you that it's comfortable because sometimes it's not. We've both been in situations where we have to communicate some hard things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've had a lot of difficult conversations currently.
Yeah, and it's not easy, but it does build a stronger relationship.
It does, because I'm going to tell you, I know we're kind of tangenty, guys, so bear with me, but my primary partner right now does not want to be in a relationship. And so I do, but I also want to be non-monogamous. It's a fucked up, twisted situation, right?
It is.
Because I really, really, really enjoy having sex with this person. And there's chemistry there beyond that too. Like I care about him. He's a great person. And he's not down with it, which is interesting because I think there's an assumption that all men would be down for that. Oh, you're letting me fuck other girls, and great. No, but they don't want to share you.
No.
Okay. It's not all of them, but this particular situation. So we have had how many challenging conversations in 2 months?
Tons.
Yeah. Because I'm like, we need to talk about this. You told me you wanted to know. Let's have conversation. We talk about it. It's uncomfortable. I hate every fucking second of it. But guess what? It's getting easier and easier, and it's teaching me a lot.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think just non-monogamy is just like an ongoing open door of communication. Right?
And it's like I've done so much reading and researching as you have.
Yeah.
And jealousy is normal.
Correct.
So it's not like, but don't you get jealous and this and that. Like I fully anticipate I'm going to have some moments of jealousy if I get into a relationship where this is like how we practice our, intimacy and sex and things like that. But I'm prepared to deal with that because on the flip side of the coin, like the connection from the discussions and the intimacy there is just going to grow deeper. Obviously, there's more to a relationship than just sex, but it's going to be a huge component.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're both non-monogamy.
Yes.
My third one is being a voyeur.
Okay. So what does that mean for you?
For me, a lot of times it is like I like seeing like videos of other people.
Mm-hmm.
I like videos of myself.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like sending that or them sending me that. I like seeing that. I wouldn't be opposed to live watching.
Oh, like in like a sex club.
Correct. I would not be opposed to that.
I still want to do that.
I have not experienced it, but I wouldn't be opposed to that. I just think that it's sexy. I think it's hot.
So yeah, I think another part of that too is like I love when there's a mirror in the room and I can like set it up and like watch my partner and like watch everything from like a fucking panoramic view.
Correct.
It's great. But yes, the sex club thing is like something that I'm interested in like exploring some more. And then like people will freak out when they hear that shit because I did too.
I know, but there's some that are not too far from here.
Yeah. So,
but I also want to preface saying that I'm not just talking about watching heterosexual situations.
Okay, say more.
I am not opposed to watching, girls on girls. I'm not opposed to that. I'm not opposed to any of that. Like, no. I think I would enjoy all of that.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. Which we're going to go over some of these things on the list too that are really, really fun for this conversation. But just as like points of reference, if you're in our area, there's the Power Exchange in San Francisco, which I have not been to.
Neither have I.
And like, obviously, as a generalization, that city is more open to sexual expression and things like that. So, if you're looking for a place of similar like-minded freaks, that's probably a great place.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a couple clubs where you go and you don't have, the Power Exchange too, no one's going to pressure you to do anything. You just go in and like, you kind of check the vibe and like, you can have sex publicly in there. Mm-hmm. You can watch other people have sex. You can just kind of coast around and hang out. I know several people that have gone and, kind of like me, curious, just asking. And then there's another club called Twist, which is very similar in nature. I believe is also in San Francisco. And then there's one in Sacramento, and I believe it's called Allures. So
I believe that's invite only though. Is it?
Yeah, I think Twist might be too, but check them out if you're in the area. I have yet to attend any of these, but I do know people in the community and like guys that I've, hung out with, played with and things, and they've gone and I've heard all kinds of fun stories and stuff. And, yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. And all those things are not like, you're very much, you choose what you want to participate in, what you don't want to participate in.
Yeah, it's very consensual. Like,
very
you
much
don't just
so.
do whatever with anybody or like there's nothing. Yeah, everybody's.
And I don't know about you, but I think that they're also very friendly and welcoming of a community.
Yeah, I feel that.
I feel that too, like friendlier than the general public.
Right. And I think for me, I was always worried like everybody wanted to fuck me.
And that's not true.
And I'm like, that's not true. I mean, maybe, but like
many would love to, but they're not going to lead with that.
Yeah. And so, I think that's one thing I've had to overcome is that. So just kind of like to wrap this up with the whole kink test, there are some other interesting things on here like dominance, being a primal, vanilla's even on here. There's a rope bunny. There's cuckold and cuck queen, which we'll talk about that in a minute. Riggers. There's all different types of kinks, and they all mean different things. Like people who like to be tied up, people who like to be gagged, people, like all this just crazy fun shit is in this test too. So you'll find out when you start plugging away at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So once you've got your kink test done, your next homework assignment or, schoolwork assignment is to go on to Sex with Emily. I believe it's sexwithemily.com. If not, it might be .net, but I'll link it up in the show notes. And this is one of my favorite podcasts. If you sign up for a newsletter list, you can get she has this little printout and it's like a checklist and it's called Yes, No, Maybe. And we printed this out. We're going to go through this hopefully, quickly-ish, but essentially what this is good for is for you, one, just to be armed with a list of things that maybe you've never even fucking heard of, right? And you're like, what the hell is fisting? Okay, don't worry, we're going to tell you. And it's going to get you curious, right? Because I want you to be curious and non-judgmental until you either one, read more about it, potentially try it and kind of figure it out. But the other great thing for this is if you're trying to kind of bond with your partner a little bit more, build a little more intimacy, maybe explore, spice things up. This is a great way to do it. Print one out for your partner. I was like this, if I was married and I was curious, I would print this out and I would like put it in my husband's like, I don't know, lunchbox or some shit or like in his briefcase. I don't know, whatever. Do guys even carry briefcases anymore? Purse, whatever. And I'd be like, check your pocket. I would like make it sexy. I'd be like, check the pocket of your briefcase.
Just like that. But I feel like, I do when like, in the dating world, I feel like
you ask a lot of questions.
I ask a lot of questions.
She pre-screens because she has prerequisites for her play partners.
Correct. And then I ask them like, what are your desires? What are things you want to do that you maybe have done in the past or haven't done?
Yeah.
Because I want to match a compatibility match, right?
Yes, because for what we're doing, which is being sexually explorative and like, having fun with another person and exploring our desires, it's good to know that like, okay, where are you at? Like, because this is where I'm at. I really enjoy this. Would you be open to that? And like, we have no problem doing that.
No, and I even list my boundaries, right? These are my boundaries.
Yes.
These are things.
Which I think some of these things we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So we're going to dive in. It starts alphabetically. So it's the first one is anal sex. And so I'm just going to kind of bulk these like bear with me. Maybe we lost you already, but just keep an open mind, friends. Okay. I'm going to bulk these all. So anal sex, anal rimming. Okay. We're going to talk about giving and receiving, and then anal toys, giving and receiving. So we kind of have mixed feelings. Like we don't obviously have the same interests, but we have a lot of the same. Go ahead and give me your take on that, on all the anal play.
So I feel like a lot of the anal play for me is a no or a maybe.
Okay.
Only because, of course, I've tried some things and some things are not enjoyable to me. Of course, there's many different factors, right, on what you're working with. And I also think that for me, just because of like my whole issue with like being in control, out of control, I have to feel super safe with the person. And that's not something that's going to be built off 2 interactions, 3 interactions, 4 interactions. So these type of anal kind of plays are usually things that happen in more long-term situations if they happen. But I'm usually like, no to the anal sex for me. Anal rimming, giving and receiving, I'm okay with that.
And rimming, for those that are like, what is that? Basically eating ass or having your ass eaten. Like, let's just be real. This is just girlfriend talk here, okay?
And let's be honest, we know that the male G-spot is in the anus.
Yes, it is. That good old prostate play.
So if you get a partner that is open-minded and allows you to try this, I guarantee you he will lose his mind.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all you have to say about that?
Yeah. And the anal toys, I'm a hard no.
Okay. So I'm a little different with this. So I am there with you on anal sex being, for me, is the one boundary that I will save for intimate relationships. You've done it, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so I have done it several times with long-term partners.
Correct.
Like people I've been dating for years. I've done it once with somebody who I was not, but I was like
comfortable.
I was catching feelings for very steadfastly. And I was like,
no,
okay.
You had feelings.
Yeah, I did. Sorry. Trying to deny that. And that was actually the one thing that made me decide I couldn't see him anymore unless he wanted to actually date me. Literally.
Correct.
I was like, I just gave you my butthole. Like,
yeah.
You need to date me outside the bedroom, I feel like now. And that was like, that's not what he was into. So I don't see him anymore. So,
but the times that I have engaged in this were not enjoyable for me.
It's a challenge. So I'm going to give you guys some tips about the tip, okay? I follow John Romaniello. I've talked about him. I'll probably talk about him often on these podcasts because I feel like he kind of opened the door for me to really get down on my freaky side with reading some of his stuff. But he does have in the highlights on his Instagram, so I'll link him up in the show notes. He has an anal training, like whole highlights on IG. And so I have done that as of recent, not because I'm trying to have anal sex with any of my partners, but I do like anal toys and being inserted into my rectum, and that can be very uncomfortable. And so there's a process. There's a process. If I know this current person I'm playing with wants to do that every single time, he wants to stick something in my butthole. Like, oh my listen, God. Buddy. Okay, sometimes I gotta be ready.
I cannot.
Lots of lube. And you have to, for me personally, I have to orgasm first.
To loosen it up?
Yes, either through oral or penetration.
To relax.
To relax everything. And then I'm like pretty much ready for that. But let me just explain. You have never put a butt plug in your asshole?
I just cannot even fathom the idea because
just get a tiny one.
It does not even seem remotely pleasurable.
So let me tell you why I enjoy it, okay? First of all, it's one of these perceived naughty things. So that's like the whole like, ooh, I'm being like naughty, right? Like it's not fucking naughty, but whatever. So
you kind of are.
Yes. So I put this cute little diamond butt plug in my butt, and
I was with you when you bought it.
Yes, you were. I was like, oh God, I don't know if I can do this. And you're like, just get it. I'm like, okay. And it was a great decision because when you have that in and you go to have sex, the sensation is completely different because it puts pressure on their penis and or their fingers or whatever. So it creates a different sensation and it is outer worldly.
I can see how that, just anatomically would be good, because it
presses up against, the walls are very thin that separate the vagina and the rectum.
Which would be stimulating your clitoral senses your nerves from internally.
Yeah, I mean, you get a little more pressure on the G-spot. Yeah. And then, just depending on the position, it feels fucking phenomenal. So, and I am a huge, one of my favorite things is to give a man a rim job. Is to just eat their ass. That's my favorite.
Correct.
But I also have to disclose
I learned it from you.
Yeah. I'm trying to convince all my friends to eat more ass. It's fucking great.
Well, they love it too.
You have to really, sometimes it's just depends on the person, I think too, sometimes.
They have to be really open sexually as well.
Yeah, that's definitely
and they have to know their G-spots in their anus.
Yeah, and I don't even get that far. It's more of just like the whole act of just butthole, just the butt. Just the tongue.
You're prepared to die in some cheeks.
I definitely suffocate more often than not.
I mean, I'm not opposed.
So I highly suggest that you keep an open mind about that. Yeah. Because it is so fucking hot. It's just hot. I'm just saying.
But then you also...
but poop comes out of there. Well, it's not coming out of there.
At that moment.
At that moment. Although I did see a fucking funny meme about a girl saying that she was eating a guy's butthole and he was hella relaxed and he farted in her mouth.
And she said it tasted metallic.
Did you send that
yes.
to me? Oh my God. Okay.
But I was going to say something though. The other thing I think that I like about it that I recently have come to terms with is it puts him in a little bit more of a submissive position.
That's fucking hella why I love that shit. I'm like,
so
yeah,
he has
baby.
to trust you enough to do that. And that's
like,
kind of hot.
Yeah, baby, I'm eating your asshole. How you like it? That's how I kind of am in my head too.
Yeah.
And I get all fucking crazy.
You're a little more aggressive than me about it.
I like snarl and snort, I think, when I'm back there.
Yeah. I understand that.
Rub my face all up in it. But anyways, I'm getting a little excited. Okay. Next, biting. How do you feel about that?
I'm game for that.
We're going down the list, FYI. So biting. I like biting.
Me too. But how about the next one says blindfold? How about blindfolded and being bit? Are you okay with being caught off by surprise?
Yeah, I think, so for me, have you done much blindfolded sex?
I have.
You have? Okay. I have. I had a partner that I was with for a short period of time we did some intense things, but we were like in a relationship and blindfolding was part of that. I think if you approach it right and you just know that person is being incredibly vulnerable and just know that like they are trusting you, like that's a trust situation for me. I would not want to be blindfolded on a first encounter with somebody.
Correct. I was also in a relationship when I did the blindfolding.
Yeah. But I mean, everybody's a little bit different, but I like blindfolding because it brings a complete awareness to all of your fucking senses.
Correct.
And it changes the whole experience.
It heightens all your other senses because you don't have your sight.
Yes. Bathing together. Fucking love it.
Me too.
Love it.
Pre and post?
Yeah, I think one of my fantasies is that I'm with a partner and they are like, no, I'm coming home. And they're like, I got a bathtub ready for you. That fucking my pussy just got wet. Okay.
I've been there, done that. I think
bathtub's ready. I have a glass of sparkling water for you in there. The candles are lit. Go relax. And then like I come out and they like give me a massage and then we just like fuck. How romantic is that? I'm a romantic person.
Yeah, you are.
I really am. Even though I'm fucking hella kinky, I crave romance so bad.
You are. And I like being taken care of. So I like being washed by somebody.
That's hot.
I like being bathed by somebody.
Yes.
I don't know about romance too much for me.
It's too personal.
I like being like taken care of like that.
Yeah.
Because again, I feel like we don't get that in our real life.
Mm-mm.
Like even when we've been in relationships, we're still kind of the dominant one.
Yeah.
So we don't get that.
No. Be careful when you take a bath with your partner if you have a 2-story floor, FYI, because just a little story. One time when I was married and my ex-husband and I had a Whirlpool hot tub, like bathtub in our bathroom. He's not a small person, okay? Mm-hmm. And I'm not really a particularly small person. And us to combine 400 pounds probably, almost, plus a shit ton of water. And it leaked through our fucking kitchen and like all over the counter. Well, we had sex and all that. So, there was a lot of motion in the fucking ocean. And we ruined our fucking ceiling. So just be careful. That's not the first time I've heard this like story.
Correct. When we were in Mexico, the ceiling started leaking because the people upstairs had done that.
So just be careful. Okay, next one. Bondage, giving and receiving. Do you like to be tied up?
I have only experienced that a limited amount of times. I put maybe.
Okay.
I think that also comes with me with a lot of trust, right? So it'd have to be somebody I've built a relationship with and I trust them and we have like an understanding and things like that.
Yeah. So I have been tied up with like scarves and like I think handcuffs or something before. My favorite is like being tied up and then just my partner is like kind of torturing my body and not allowing me to have orgasm. And yeah, it's the greatest. I can't do anything about it. I have no control. Thank you. And I don't want to be in control.
I think we're the same there. Not having control does something. Mm-hmm. But not everybody can do that in the bedroom, Some partners are very not, they're kind of submissive. As soon as you get in there, you're like, oh.
Like you mean speaking from your experience with a male partner?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, what do you like? Don't ask me that.
Uh-huh. Figure it out. No, I don't know. I kind of like that.
But in the bedroom, ask me that like.
Okay, yeah.
Before we get there, don't get in there and ask me, what do I like?
Yeah.
Like,
do you like your
I would like you to leave now.
Yeah. I mean, I get that. It's like the timing was off, obviously.
Yeah, it's like,
for sure.
no.
Okay, how about caressing?
Love it.
Okay.
I love being caressed, and I love caressing a body.
I spend a lot of time doing that.
Like, just like rubbing on their body is
Mhm.
amazing, especially if they're super sexy.
Yeah,
Which tends to be my jam lately.
That's a huge part of like my just sexual, I don't know, experience.
It's almost like I go into like some kind of trance, and I'm
Yeah.
just focused on it.
Yeah.
Like super focused on it.
Right.
But we have different types of sexy. Like, your sexy type is not my sexy type. We have some things that cross over, but
Like who we're interested in, or
like who we deem
got you.
sexy. We have
Mhm.
different types.
yeah, but still, nonetheless, like for the reason why I like caressing my partner is because it tells me so much. Right. So my fingertips, and I like try light pressure. I try hard pressure. I try nails. I go through the whole thing, and I'm like mapping their body. This is like the fucking ninja, like my ninja shit I do. I'm like, okay, I kind of start with their arms, and like I go over their collarbone, and then I go lightly, and I kind of just like watch their body. What are they doing? Are they arching? Do they like it? Are they moaning? Like, and then I get down to like where his, fucking penis is, and like I'm around the balls, I'm rubbing down the legs, I'm scratching up the shin. It's like a whole process.
Yeah.
And I'm like getting turned on as I do it, but I'm also like, okay, what is it? I'm like reading. I'm just like fucking like braille. I'm
yeah.
like, does he like it? Yes.
Like,
okay, right here.
like
this
cracking
spot.
the code. You're like
Yeah.
cracking the code.
Yeah.
I have found there's similarities, though. I feel like there's similarities, like, like most men have some similarities, but
Spots.
some don't. Yeah, some
Yeah.
similar spots.
Yeah. Like some guys do not want their nipples touched for the life of them.
Some love it.
Some are like pinch them fucking harder.
Lick them.
Yeah.
But, I think the same for women. Women have different spots, too. But I
Mhm.
think the most common spot for women is like the neck, and like their back of their neck, I think is
Oh my God. That
a
come unglued.
real common spot for females.
It's a very like neglected area, I realized, because my partner actually did that last night, and I was like, oh my God, I fucking like my eyes rolling back in my head. And he's done it a handful of times, and we just kind of like get so like enraptured in each other's fucking chemistry that like I'm like it's like 31 flavors with him. Like I'm like, okay, what flavor is it tonight? I never know. And so that was like, okay, yeah, we got to keep that on the 31 flavors list, because I really like that.
Yeah, the most women enjoy that, but they don't get it often. So tell your partner.
Okay, choking, giving and receiving. I have a great story for this one.
I'm a thumbs up on both.
So you're fine with like choking someone else?
Yes, and someone choking me.
So I'm okay with choking someone else, but I think I have a little bit of fear around it, because
You're so strong.
Yeah, my hands are really large for a female.
Yeah,
I have
and
really
you're
gigantic hands.
And you're all your buffness, you're super strong.
Yeah, and I could like probably snap a neck, but no, I'm just kidding.
No,
But
you
maybe.
probably could.
But so I just don't know. I feel like I need to do some more research on like how to make sure I'm doing it properly.
Well, probably soft pressure would be medium pressure to them for you.
Yeah. I was with a partner recently, and we were talking just about this kind of stuff. And he was telling me, he was like, hey, do you like being choked? We're like, just had sex. We're laying there just bullshitting. And I said, I actually really do. And he goes, oh, I do too, but I like to like be black out.
That's a thing.
And I'm like, okay, that's scary. I don't want to do that. That's not. And this is where, there's no judgment. I just don't, that for me instills like a fear that would kill the vibe for me.
Yeah.
But I do like being choked. And he was like, well, how do you know, like, I don't know, how do you feel about that? Like, do you know how to like tell somebody, obviously you're being choked, like when is it too much? Because I like a lot.
A lot of pressure. Just tap them, their hand.
I told him, I said, well, for me, just a double tap, a double tap, like no, or I'll pull your hand away. But if I like it, 99% of the time, which I do, and they generally aren't choking me hard enough, is I push their hand harder onto my throat.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I've had to tap out a couple times.
I think I have once in my life.
But I still wasn't scared.
Yeah. I was like on the brink, and it was more of like, I was about to probably have an orgasm, and
it was too much.
It was too much. I just needed just the right amount for that to be hot. So, okay, cuddling. You're not a cuddler.
I'm not a cuddler, and I've been accused of not being a cuddler a
You
lot
take
of
off.
times.
You're like, peace.
I've been accused of that several times. Like, just lay here with me. Just lay here with me. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to be lying. I'm not going to lie to you, though. There are some times where I do enjoy it. I've recently discovered, and it has to be with a larger male, like someone who's so much larger than me that I just feel like I'm so little.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I absolutely fucking love cuddling, but I don't want to cuddle with all my play partners. Like the guy that I'm playing with now, I want him to cuddle me, but he doesn't cuddle me. Of course, see, I want what I can't have. He doesn't really cuddle me.
Because you're a brat.
Because I am a brat. And so I try to snuggle up to him. I tried the other night and he didn't really like reciprocate any kind of like caressing once I snuggled up to him. And I was like, I think he was mad at me because I had sex with somebody else, but whatever.
Moving on.
But whatever. I mean, we just had sex. You should cuddle me now. But he's over it, I think.
Some partners cuddle right after having sex. Like that's just part of the routine.
Yeah.
You know?
And I feel like that I would want that if I was, in love with that person or trying to establish that with that person, right? Because that's like a different kind of intimacy, I feel like.
It is.
Okay, climaxing together.
I like that. It's just very difficult for me to sync
Time
that. Yeah.
Too many browsers open.
Too many.
Oh.
It's happened a few times, and the few times that it has happened, I do enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very difficult for me to sync that up.
Yeah, I am very fortunate that I can have multiple orgasms. So for me,
lucky.
It's not like, okay, you got one shot. Let's try to fucking coordinate these coordinates, right? So I'm okay with like that. The problem for me is that feels like a very intimate thing.
It is.
With a partner, which sounds crazy.
Especially if they're staring at you.
Yes.
Deep into your eyes.
For sure. And I probably a few months ago, one of the play partners that I was with we're in the middle of having sex. And he's like, and I told him I'm about to come. And he's like, I'm about to come too. And I'm like, okay. He's like, let's do it together. And I'm like, what?
You got scared?
Wait. Yeah. And then it scared it away for a minute. And I was like, oh God, I got to get it back. I'm kind of on the spot now.
Yeah.
And I did, but I was like, I don't think I like that.
You don't
Not with you, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great.
I think it's a very intimate thing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Deep throating.
Done it.
I'm getting better.
It depends on, what you're working with,
For sure.
You don't want to clog your airways for a long period of time.
I'm definitely struggling with that.
Yeah.
But I've gotten better. I don't know. I just think because I've been practicing with this particular person for so long that I don't know. He's kind of like guided me and it's like he fucking loves it. So, okay.
And then if you have a very like aware partner, like if they're aware of what they're working with, they won't try to kill you,
Yeah. Well, yeah. Depends on how aggressive they are.
Right.
Okay. This is probably one of my top 5 favorites is dirty talk.
You do enjoy that.
I do.
I like it too, but I think you're very much like
I'm all about it. I mean, clearly this podcast, I'm like, hello.
Yeah, I think you're very much all about it. I like doing it, but I always feel like maybe I don't always initiate it. Maybe I just, they like it. So I just kind of respond, but I don't think I'm an initiator. I think you're an initiator.
Oh, I'm for sure an initiator because I know, like, like for me, if I have been interacting with somebody in this capacity for a while, like we've had more than a couple sexual experiences together or whatever, I kind of start to learn the rhythms of their body and like, okay, I know this position he's going to come or like whatever. I know if there's certain things that I say, there's no chance that he's going to be able to hold back. So sometimes I'm fucking tired and I'm like, I say a phrase and then they lose their mind and they orgasm and I'm like, okay, we're good. Like, because sometimes your girl needs a fucking break.
I feel like I have different tricks for that. I don't feel it's dirty
Different
talk.
positions?
Yeah.
But dirty talk is wonderful. I think it's highly underrated. And I use it a lot to keep things hot in between the times I see my partner. So I will send, me and I love a good voice text, right?
Yeah.
You
taught me how to do voice text.
Yeah. I've taught a lot of my friends my dirty ways. But I'm like sending little voice memos and they don't have to be like a podcast an hour long, but they're like a couple minutes and I'm just talking about what I want them to do to me or what I want to do to them. And they just come unglued like that. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's next? Oh, dressing up.
Dressing up. For me, I just kind of categorize this as like dressing up fancy or like, because role play is on here too. So I don't know. Dressing up, is that like, I don't know.
I kind of think it may be lingerie-ish.
Oh, okay. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
In fact, I've run out of things to wear for my current partner because we've been hanging out so much. And I'm like, motherfucker. Like, he gives 2 fucks less, probably. I don't even know. I mean, although I did hang out with him on Valentine's Day and I had a bright red teddy and I put it on and I almost took it off because I'm like, this is kind of crossing over the relationship boundary a little because it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
1, which he invited me over.
Okay.
And 2, this is a red teddy.
Correct.
And I'm like, fuck it.
Yeah.
And when I got there, I took off my clothes. He saw that and he was like, oh my God, you look so fucking sexy. And I was like, this was a good idea.
This is a great idea.
It's a fucking great idea.
I know. I like wearing lingerie too. And then I like, I'll ask like favorite colors, requests, things like that. Because I like to like, you know, make sure I, you know, give them what they like.
For sure. What's even more fun, I think I've done a couple times in the past, is I'll like pull out 2 different pairs of underwear and I'll be like, which one should I wear today or whatever, just so they feel like they have a say in what the fuck I'm wearing or whatever.
But I think goes with the same thing.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of hot.
being, you know, told what to do a little bit.
I kind of want you to boss me around.
Yeah.
I kind of want you to degrade me a little bit.
You know, because we don't get that
No.
in our normal life. But I'm all for lingerie wearing, things like that. I think it's hot.
Yep. Okay. Edging. Edging is essentially when you prolong your orgasm or your partner just like holds off. So you're basically riding the edge of the orgasm until it's time to go down the roller coaster. That's how I describe it. And you just let it fucking go. You can't.
No, I can't.
You can't hold back.
No, I cannot.
You little slut.
But I'm not a multiple orgasm type of person. And people who are, I envy them, you know?
Yeah.
But I feel like if it's coming, like this is like, it needs to come. Like, come on
we had
now.
this discussion yesterday.
Yeah, we did.
In not really knowing we were going to cover it today, but we talked about it. And I said, well, for me, because I can have multiple orgasms, they're generally like little aftershocks. But if I edge myself and I wait and I wait and I wait, the one that comes is like a full fucking out of body experience.
You know, I'm glad you're talking about that because I feel sometimes women don't even know what an orgasm feels like or they can't tell what it is.
Oh
and
my
there
God.
are different types,
Yeah.
right? Because there are big ones where you just feel like, you know, you kind of just like reach like this high point and you just kind of lose it.
Yeah, I literally feel like I have no control over my body.
You normally don't.
Yeah. But the other ones, I'm like, oh, okay, it's like a little passing tidal wave or whatever, you know, it was great. It's fine. Does the job, lubes it up a little bit more. But I like.
How do you feel those? Explain that. How do you feel those? What do those feel like?
Those are like, they're like a fraction of the intensity of a really high, hard, like crazy orgasm that I prolong by edging, and they feel good, but it's not, I don't know, it's not the same sensation, but I can explain the other one better. So when I edge myself until I literally can't take it anymore, and then I finally just allow myself to have an orgasm, like there's something that happens, like I get chills on my scalp all the way down to my spine. I just kind of like involuntary, it sounds kind of fucking crazy, but just like involuntary movements with my body. Sounds are coming out of me that I'm like, what the fuck is that even? I sound like an orca, a whale. I don't even know. And I'm just like, I don't even fucking care if he's like, what the fuck is happening to this bitch right now? Because I just am here for it. Okay.
You know, and there are some like things that happen to a female's body and a male's body leading up to orgasm, right? Like if you're missing the signs, a lot of times women, your legs will start to shake a little bit.
Oh, mine do after, like one of those big ones. I can't. It's uncontrollable.
Then that's why you need to back off because you can't take any more stimulation after.
Well, and that is very true. I need a minute. I just need a minute.
I don't.
Oh, yeah, no. And my current play partner, we actually talked about this last night because I had one of those blood-curdling orgasms when he was giving me oral, right? So he was giving me head. And we were in 69. I was on top, which is like, it's our shit right now because we've established this rhythm. And so he just like locked on and I'm like, okay, it's coming, this huge, gigantic tidal wave. And then he just fucking clamps down and he will not release. And he thinks it's funny because I'm a brat.
Yeah.
And so I told him, I'm like, you motherfucker. I finally said something because it's like the 3rd time he's done that. And he's like, I think it's funny because you're so sensitive. And I'm like, you don't want me sucking on the tip of your dick after you come. Because that shit's sensitive. It's worse, okay? It's worse. Don't do that.
And I think a lot of men do that. I think they clamp down when they notice that the female is orgasming, and that's the wrong thing to do. for men who are listening, or even females who pleasure other females orally?
Yeah. I mean, maybe some people are into that, but I just have not heard of somebody who's like, yeah, I fucking like that. I'm like, it doesn't feel good to me.
I would ask your partner, because I want to say 90% of the time, you need a minute.
I do need a minute. Yeah. Okay. That was a good one. Edging's my favorite. Okay. Eye contact.
Oh my gosh.
We've talked about this before.
I checked it, but it depends too, because I think it builds like a lot of intimacy, right?
Yes.
So it kind of depends on the situation you're in, if you want that or you don't want that.
I really enjoy it when I'm falling like in love with somebody, or like that's a relationship that's developing into those types of feelings. Generally, I will be honest, I don't make a ton of eye contact with my play partners because it feels like such an intimate thing. So I will look, I have my eyes open 90% of the time, but I'm watching everything happen. I want to see all the things because I'm a voyeur by nature. I want to look. And so I generally will not, I noticed this about myself the last couple of days, I will not look above the neck. I will not. Unless my toes go into his mouth, I want to watch that whole fucking thing unfold. And I am watching that and he's looking at me and that's like fucking hot as hell. But I generally won't. It's a very intimate thing. But I have with this current play partner a few times because,
yeah,
I like him and shit.
Yeah, I know.
So whatever.
So I think it's a case by case.
Yes. Okay. Face sitting. Do you like to sit on someone's face, or do you want? I've had both of these happening lately. I've had my face sat on by my partner so I can eat his ass. Thank you very much.
I have not had that happen, but that sounds...
Oh my God, you haven't? It's the best. So guy on top 69, perfect position for you to eat his ass. You can't really suck dick in that position. It's a little awkward because,
bending it backwards.
I mean, I've done it. I've been doing it. It's got to be a champ for that one. But yeah, I'm living between the butt cheeks, and then he's in prime real estate for, giving oral. But
that's probably not the normal scenario.
It's not. It's usually girl on top, which we do that too. But
yeah,
when I want to be like going ham on some booty cheeks, I'm like, get on top of me.
Yeah. But face sitting the other way with the female on top is a
normal.
Pretty popular position.
Mm-hmm.
And, they might die, they might not be able to breathe, but I say go for it anyways.
Yeah. Suffocate them.
Yeah, go for it. They're asking for it. Go for it anyways.
Just getting into it, it's great.
Or her, suffocate him or her.
Yeah. Whoever, your partner.
It's fine.
Okay. Fingering, not my favorite.
Not my favorite.
Yeah, I think guys, well, I don't know. I've spoken to a lot of females, and typically it's not by consensus like a raving yes.
It's uncomfortable.
I think it's just, it depends on the person that's able to do that, if they can do it properly. Because it's, for me, it does nothing like your fingers in and out. It doesn't, unless you're trying to make me squirt, and that's a whole nother conversation. But I'm just more interested in like you exploring the whole entire area versus just like sticking your fingers in and out.
Yeah, not my fave.
Okay. Fisting.
Negative.
Yeah, I don't know that I think I'd be interested in that.
No.
Which, I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm under the assumption that this is essentially getting your whole hand into your partner's
it just looks
either
uncomfortable.
Vagina or their ass.
Yeah.
Or their,
It just looks uncomfortable to me.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm sure it goes along with the anal sex thing. I'm sure there's like, you don't just go from like 0 to fisting.
Yeah. It's probably a process.
So I'm sure there is a process to that, but I think that's probably something I wouldn't be too.
But tell us, friends, if you have experience in that. Let us know.
Hey, we could be missing out.
Yeah.
Maybe we're being narrow-minded. Okay, we're not going to get through this whole list.
No, we're not.
But we're going to go through, let's get through a few more. Okay, so flirting.
I like it.
Yeah, please flirt with me. Text flirt with me. It kind of builds the momentum in a foreplay sense. Food play. You had somebody pour honey on your feet and lick it off your toes.
And I've had whipped cream situations too.
Yes, I just I'm not a fan of too many food groups in my private parts because I ain't trying to like disrupt the vaginal pH, So I'd be fine with like, I don't know, honey and shit like that. Just having fun with different things. Foot massage.
I love it.
Some girls don't like, or some people in general just don't like their feet touched. I like my feet sucked on during sex, which not many people have done for me. This current partner I have just did it randomly. I don't know, probably like 3 or 4 play dates in. And I was like, you need to do that a lot, please. Thank you. I told him, I was like, I love it. I'm getting my toes done. Pedicures are going to be on point just because I know you do that.
Yeah.
And I have been. I've been on point with my pedicures.
Which is good.
He told me last night I walked out of my car barefoot because I went to dinner in my fucking huge stilettos, right? So I drove to his house barefoot and I got out and I was like 10 feet to his front door. And he opens the door and he goes, "You nasty walking in here barefoot? I'm not sucking on your toes." I said, "Yeah, you are." He didn't, but it's okay. We got to other fun things. Okay, gags.
Well, it happens. It's part of giving oral sex, I believe. Do you think so?
I think this is more like when you have a ball gag in your mouth, like more a BDSM type of a gag situation. You want to be gagged during sex.
No, not interested.
Yeah, I don't think that it's really like my sex template for that kind of interest, but again, could be missing out on that. Genital massage.
That's positive.
Positive. I want lots of that. I would actually prefer, how about you? I would prefer that if we're going to be doing that, right, rather than you finger me,
yes,
that you get some oil or some lube or whatever, and you just like massage the whole just area. Like
spit too works.
Spit works great. Inner thigh, all like my outer labia, my inner labia, gently around clit. You like how I'm giving you all these instructions? Yeah. Hopefully some men are listening out there, right?
I hope so.
Okay. Next one, group sex. Would that be something? Yes, no, or maybe? Have you? No? Is it a dead no? Or would you possibly?
I have not, but I am not opposed to the idea.
Okay. Like, let's tease the details out.
Okay.
Like, what would that look like for you?
Well, I wouldn't be opposed to going as an individual, as a single female.
Into a situation with strangers.
Correct.
Okay.
Maybe if there was like preliminary conversation, understandings, right. Things talked about, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I don't think I'd also be opposed to going with a partner.
What would that look like? Male, female, like all the genders? What's your preference there?
I would probably be open to all the genders participating. I just don't know what I would be. I would have to decide on what I'd be interested in participating, but I would not be opposed to all genders being there.
Yeah.
And doing some things.
I'm on the same. I have not done this. This is definitely on my bucket list of sexual exploration. Hopefully by the end of this year, I feel like it'll happen. And, for me, I'd want to explore with a threesome first. I've not done that. And then, for me, I feel like the first initial for that would probably be like me and my male partner and a female. And
I think that's the soft introduction.
For sure. Because I have been with a woman before. It's been quite some time, but I have been fully on, like I had a full on lesbian phase. It was not bisexual. I had a partner live with me. And that was, I don't know, 20 years ago.
I have not had that, but I have had some full on girl crushes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I really want to have a threesome with two dudes.
You're braver than me. I'm not. I don't think I'm that brave. I think for two males, I think I would need another female present because I need someone. What if I need someone else to be entertained?
Out.
Yes.
You need to tap out.
Yes.
I kind of feel like you might be right there, but there's something to me that's just really hot about knowing that two men are going to be there to just be like I know they're thinking oh yeah, we're both hitting it. But in my head, I'm like, you bitches are here to please me.
Yeah. I can see how you would think that.
That's
but
how I would just be.
I would just be concerned on where all the things are going to be placed.
There's boundaries, buddies. There's boundaries, buddies.
There's going to have to be a lot of understanding and conversation.
Yeah, because there's a lot of there's two dicks at your face.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot to handle.
But I know both of us have been in situations where we are aware of all the group sex going on around us.
Yes, we are for sure. So I think I'd be down for that. I think I would be down for that. I want to explore with that. But I feel like if I'm going to do that, I need to have a primary person who I'm very comfortable with in our sexual experiences so I know what to expect there. I can't imagine that I would be okay with just doing that blindly with people that I'm I've never slept with either one of you. Let's hope this works.
I feel like if there's been coffee dates and conversation and you're there's sexual chemistry, and your boundaries have been explored and agreed. I think that it could work.
I agree. Okay. We're going to do two more. The next one is hair pulling.
So I know you and I have talked about this, that there are some aggressive situations we've been in where it's been a lot.
We did talk about that a couple days ago. Mm-hmm. We were talking about sexual experiences that we've had where the partner was a little more aggressive than we were comfortable with.
And I think it's because of what you said. It's not the level of aggression that we were necessarily uncomfortable with. It was the fact that it never let up. it was always aggressive.
Yes. So it out the gate started aggressive. There was no lead up. It was like, it feels to me that in the few experiences that I've had like this, like a lion chasing its prey.
Correct.
And the prey is like not going to stand a fucking chance.
No.
And I'm not talking rape here. Like this is consensual. And there was a part of me that like was slightly turned on.
Exploring it.
Yeah. And exploring it and slightly turned on by it. But it was too much. It was like, okay, like when you eat a really decadent brownie and you're like, oh,
It's too sweet.
I can't eat this whole thing. It's too much. It's too sweet. It like crossed the threshold of being like sexy and hot and like, oh yeah, I'm getting like tossed around a little bit where I'm like, are you like aggressively fucking me? Are you like hate fucking? That's what it feels like.
That's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. And I think
like
and in those situations, the hair pulling is aggressive.
Yeah, it's not comfortable.
No.
But have you ever felt like you've done that to somebody where you've like aggressively fucked them?
A little bit.
Yeah, I have. But I haven't got any bad feedback,
Neither
because
have
it's
I.
probably not the level. I mean, for us,
we're
it's more
because we're overpowered because they're stronger than us.
Yeah, for us, it's more of like a fear, like a little bit of breach of safety. I think kind of like, okay, this doesn't feel safe. There's a difference of like fucking and like having this hot sex that's just like off the charts.
Where it goes like in flows. Like there's pieces of it that are aggressive, but there's pieces of it that let up. You have a break.
Right, it ebbs and flows.
There's maybe a little combo in between. That's different than like, these situations where it's just aggressive from start to end. And there's no let up.
Right.
And you're obviously like, I know I felt obviously physically overpowered the whole time.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a fun spot to be in.
No, but mind you, they were very sexy gentlemen. They were very hot gentlemen.
Yeah.
But
it wasn't something I was like really excited to go back for.
Correct.
That's the thing. It kind of ruined it a little bit. And, for us, we, I should say for me, I definitely feel like I should have had some responsibility in saying like,
correct,
that was probably too much for me. Instead, I just said nothing. And I was like, nope, not doing that again.
I said.
Oh, you did? You
yeah.
said.
Both times I said it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, my bad. I probably would now, but this was like two years ago for me in this last kind of situation, like that stands out very vividly. Okay. Last one. And I think this is a great place to end is hand jobs because I'm not really like a fan of giving hand jobs, but I will do it. I just feel like I don't know if I'm doing it right. I know that sounds really silly, but it's like it's just an up and down motion, but like it's really not. And the reason why I say that is because one of my things that I like, part of my voyeurism, and I don't know if you like this, is I love when a guy will send me a video of him jacking off. I fucking love that. I love dick pics. I'm not the normal girl. I have a collection. Okay.
You have an album.
I have a collection.
You have an album.
And a hidden album. I like that. I want to see that. Okay. It's hot to me. People are like, dicks are ugly. I'm like, fucking dicks are beautiful. I fucking love dicks. In fact, I have a list of the dicks that I keep track and I make notes. And I'm like, this one's uncircumcised. This one, I fucking love uncircumcised dicks.
I know you do.
You know it's my favorite.
I do not.
It's like finding a motherfucking unicorn.
It's not something that I'm particularly interested in.
I'm all
not
dicks.
Opposed.
I do not discriminate against the dicks, but I do have preferences and I love a man who is uncircumcised.
Yeah. I've never heard that from a female.
I know. Well, listen, ladies, get on board with the uncut men, okay? You're missing out. So anyhow, hand jobs. But this is one thing that concerns me with being with a partner who is not circumcised because I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Am I doing it right? I don't know. I don't want to hurt you.
Yeah, it's different.
And so what I was getting at is that this is how I do my research, is I like to see them jacking themselves off. Mm-hmm. This is such an aggressive podcast, FYI, because I like to know how they stroke their own cock because it's probably what they're going to want if I'm doing it.
Correct.
So I look at it as a researcher. I'm like, okay, he's pulling a little to the right. It's not very aggressive. He doesn't go over the tip. Like, I'm literally like trying to figure that fucking shit out.
Same thing goes for females though. Females who masturbate, we know what we like on ourselves.
Yeah.
So most of us lean from more, some of us lean more to the left. Some of us lean more to the right.
Oh, preference for stimulation.
Yes.
Yeah.
So those are also, when you're getting a hand situation down there, you can like move the hand to where you need it.
I do that often.
Yeah. Because we need to know where our own settings are.
My clit hangs to the right. I don't know about yours.
Mine's more to the left.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, how do you feel with your hand job game?
I feel like
You're good at like the oral sex game.
Yeah, and I feel like
I have a penis, like I know, but I mean from the videos we've shared with each other,
I do enjoy.
Oh, that's a good one, sis. I need that technique,
but I do enjoy the hand job situation. Sometimes I kind of go into a little bit of a trance because I like to just
stroke.
Yeah, and see how they respond. To be honest with you,
well, I've noticed.
I feel it's also a break, in between the whole,
right, breaks it up a little
session. What do we call it?
Yeah.
I feel like it's a break, because it could be quite vigorous sometimes.
Very vigorous. I've found the last few videos I've got that most of the guys that send me those, they aren't even using lube.
No.
They're just raw dogging it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I would have never guessed. If I had a penis, I don't know, I'm not a penis owner, but if I had one, I'd be slopping that thing up.
A little bit of baby oil, right?
I probably would never leave the house. Let's just be real.
Probably a little bit of baby oil. I would think it'd also make your skin soft.
I mean, maybe, but a silicone lube that's just slippery. I would think that would simulate a wet vagina.
You're probably right. We would have to ask our male friends.
Yeah, I should probably ask that. That'd be for a male-based episode. Maybe my male friends can just, let me know in the DMs. Maybe not. Don't do that. Don't send me your dick pics. All right.
But preferences.
Yes, exactly. Well, that was fun.
Yes.
We only got through half the list, so make sure to go check it out. And, obviously we gave our bonus commentary here for you. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. But really, again, just what do you have to say to our friends who are just probably dying right now at what we're talking about?
Just being open-minded, expressing your needs, discussing your boundaries, and just what are your desires? There's so many things we can change, we can explore, we can try, so I just encourage everybody to do that.
And let's be real, 10 years ago, if you looked at this list, you would have probably been mortified.
I would have died.
And we could never have even had this conversation.
I couldn't even have talked about it.
No way, man.
But
no way. I was missionary, lights off. That's it. Don't ask to see me naked. I'd get dressed in the bathroom so my husband could not see me change. That's how far this has come. And now I fucking parade around naked in a random, barely stranger's house that I'm playing with.
Because we also have confidence, right? We have confidence, and we're body positive. Love yourself and the skin that you're in. Mm-hmm. Period.
Yeah, I'm actually more comfortable naked in this body, which is not my most shredded, jacked, what people perceive as oh my gosh, she has a perfect body, right? When I'm, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks out from a show, I'm more comfortable in this body that's curvy and juicy than when I'm shredded. I don't feel sexy like I do now. It's such a
different. I know, because I also feel I'm not in my, prime body, but I also feel more comfortable in this body than I ever have in years previous.
Yeah, but I think a lot of it too, we've just really
worked on it.
We have. And I think our friendship has been a huge piece of us being well, I'm going to do this thing. And I just want to see what you're going to say. And then you're well, fuck, I want to do that too now. And then we just have that support of okay, she'll send me people and you'll be what do you think about this guy? And I'm I think you should just try it because it's different for you.
Yeah. We definitely have different preferences.
Yeah. Which is funny because we would probably never really swipe on the same people.
Ever.
Very few. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyhow, that was fun. All right. Thank you, Almost Dr. Crystal, for
You're
coming
welcome.
on. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please make sure to send me a little DM over on Instagram. We only went through half of the yes, no, maybe list. I would like to go through the other half maybe on another episode. So if you're interested, let me know and we'll go over those too. So your homework is to do your BDSM test online. Share that with your partner if you have one. And then download this yes, no, maybe list on Sex with Emily's website. I will link that up as well. And fucking have some sex.
That's what I say.
Do it.
And love yourself and the body you're in.
Sex with yourself even. Fucking get it, bitches.
Boss bitch.
Thank you for listening to Boss Bitch Radio. It would mean the world to me if you could rate and review the podcast. If you could give us a 5-star review on iTunes, drop us a little comment. We will read those, and we offer prizes as a ethical bribe for you to leave us some great mojo and words of affirmation. You know, that is my love language. And also, if you're over on Spotify, you can rate and review it there as well. All of this helps other women, other people, other folks see us, hear us, and learn from all of the amazing boss bitch tools and hacks, and hopefully get some LOLs. And if not, if anything, if you could share this with one person, I'd love you forever. And I know you are just here for my undying love. And last but not least, please, 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 please come find me over on Instagram so we can be buddies. We can be Insta fam over there. I am Diane Flores _IFBB_pro. Come say hi, drop me a DM, let me know what you think of the podcast. I'm always open for new suggestions and feedback as well. And I hope you listen again soon.